The Adventure of Egbert the Easter Egg by Richard Armour. Paul Galdone drew the pictures. Egbert the egg looked like other eggs. He had no arms, and he had no legs, and he had no face. All he had for skin was a very thin shell to keep insides in, and so if you looked where he lay with dozens of just alike eggs, Egbert's brothers and cousins without any name on, not even an E, how in the world would you know which was he? Try putting yourself in his place, or his shell. Wouldn't you be unhappy if no one could tell? One day, though, this state of affairs couldn't last. Things started to happen to Egbert, and fast. It was just before Easter when suddenly he heard voices of children all shouting with glee. "We're having an Easter egg hunt! Hooray! We'll color the eggs, Mother says, today. I'm painting mine yellow. I'm painting mine green. I'm painting mine purple with pink in between." Then Egbert was suddenly given a hoist and plopped into water that made him all moist. Delightful, thought Egbert, delightfully cool. Then it grew much too warm. This is no swimming pool. It bubbled and boiled, and the eggs took a belting, till one of them cried, "Help! I think I'm melting!" Said another more wise, "You're not melting, my lad, but a hotter hot bath I never have had." And Egbert, who'd been a bit sloshy inside, was fearful of cracking, could feel with some pride he was growing hard-boiled and so sturdy, in fact. He had nothing to fear if ever he cracked. "My insides will stay inside me," he thought, "if somebody throws me and I'm not caught." Soon out of the water and ranged in a row were Egbert and others all ready to go. Then paint started flowing, for each boy and girl was dipping and daubing with flourish and swirl. Some painted straight stripes, while others painted circles. Still others made lines that had crookedy circles. The boys painted broadly, the girls were more dainty, and some missed the eggs and themselves were all painty. What happened to Egbert? What happened was plenty. He didn't get circles, or stripes 10 or 20, but thanks to the owner whose egg Egbert was, he got something better than any, because the boy, a small fellow the others called Frank, having noticed that Egbert was perfectly blank, thought quite thoughtfully painted, and in the right place, what Egbert had needed and longed for. A face. Let other eggs boast of their pretty designs, their straight and their wavy and zigzaggy lines. Egbert alone had 2 eyes, round and wide, and a couple of ears, one ear to a side, and a dot of a nose, and a happy smile mouth, and a small dimpled chin underneath to the south. Oh, Egbert was proud of his face as could be, since no other egg had a face, only he. Though his eyes weren't quite even, and likewise his ears, Egbert thought to himself, "I've a face now. 3 cheers! I'm sure I'll be placed in a place up in front and be the first found in the Easter egg hunt. With a face such as this, I most certainly know that I'll be the big smash, no, the hit of the show." Came the day of the hunt. The parents that morning, without any hint, without any warning, hid Easter eggs easterly, westerly, northerly, in places up neartherly, also out fartherly. They put them below things and also behind things, where no one you'd think would be looking to find things. In boxes and barrels, in trees and on hedges, in holes dug by moles, and on out-of-sight ledges. They hid the eggs lowly, they hid the eggs highly, they hid the eggs ever so shrewdly and slyly. Then said, when they'd finished with eggs in the flowers and eggs behind bricks, "They'll be busy for hours." But when, at a signal, the children came hopping and leaping and laughing to seek without stopping, they made a beeline for each egg where it lay. For parents aren't very good hiders away, and cries of, "I've found one! I've found one! I've found one!" soon filled all the garden and echoed around 10 minutes, or less, maybe 5, and they'd got all the eggs that were hidden. That is, so they thought. They hadn't found Egbert. And what, I insist, hurt Egbert still more was he hadn't been missed. For Frank, who'd have known and would gladly have told, was at home, as happened, in bed with a cold. Yes, Frank, who had painted on Egbert's white space, would have asked, were he there, "Where's the egg with the face?" But Frank was at home with a cough and a sniffle, and to anyone else 1 more egg was but piffle. Not piffle, however, to Egbert was being the one egg at Easter that no one was seeing, the one egg that after the egg hunt was done was missing the laughter and missing the fun, was missing in short, but not missed. He, alas, wasn't snug in a basket, but snared in the grass. For out in the yard, on the top of a mound, was where Egbert was. Tall grass all around. The children had passed him, the grass was so high. Over here, he had wanted to cry. He had wanted to wave and to shout, "No, not there!" to fire off a pistol or send up a flare. But Egbert, poor egg, had to lie there quite helpless, with no arms to wave and a mouth that was yelpless. Perhaps, he concluded, if I, like the others, like all my egg sisters and all my egg brothers, had had some bright stripes instead of this face, I might not be lying alone in this place. Or if I'd had colored spots, then I might have been spotted and not be alone here all night. All night he was there. It was woefully true. A night that was chilly and rainy, too. Poor Egbert, his face facing up at the sky, saw the heavy black rain clouds go scuttering by. And he felt things come crawling from holes in the ground that brushed him and nudged him and slithered around. It might be a snake or a snail or a worm or something still worse with a horrible squirm. But Egbert, face up, couldn't see if he tried what burrowed beneath him or brushed on his side. Indeed, were he able, he wouldn't have peered, for Egbert, alone in the darkness, was scared. A bird with great beak and with talons like metal once swooped about midnight and started to settle right smack upon Egbert, then noting his face said, "Oops, it appears that I've got the wrong place. I have to be going to get to my garden." Then it leapt with a flap, and "I beg you, sir, your pardon." Egbert suffered intensely from cold and from fear, and the long, lonely night seemed a month or a year. But morning arrived, as it has a way of doing, and it was Easter Day. And the sky was bright, and the sun was warm, and Egbert no longer felt any alarm. When he heard a strange sound, or he felt a new nudge, in fact, once he muttered quite bravely, "Oh, fudge!" Then a strange thing happened. Thanks to the rain that had fallen all night, and had formed a drain, a river or rivulet, ever more wide, that flowed around Egbert on either side. With a twist and a twitch, Egbert started to move through the grass where the drain made an egg-sized groove. On out to the edge of the mound he hobbled and slipped and skidded and wiggled and wobbled, then over the edge and down uncontrolled. Egbert faster and faster and faster rolled. As Egbert gained speed with the greatest of ease, he rolled down the mound and around shrubs and trees. He rolled across lawns newly mowed. What a roller! He rolled like a bowling ball bowled by a bowler. He rolled like a golf ball that rolls in the fairway. He rolled like a marble that's dropped on the stairway. Breaking every known record for eggs, I am told, he rolled, and he rolled, and he rolled, and he rolled. He rolled to the sidewalk. He rolled to the street, just missing by inches all manner of feet. The feet of gay people, of man and of maid, parading today in the Easter parade. And where, then, did Egbert, who spun like a top when his rolling was done, come at last to a stop? Can you possibly guess? Have you any vague notion? Did he drop down a drain pipe and wash to the ocean? Did he vanish forever in leaves and in trash? Did the wheel of a car with a terrible smash, a passenger car or a truck with a loud, make Egbert the egg with a spot in the road? If these were your guesses, you couldn't be wronger. I'll tell you what happened, not take any longer. He stopped by the steps of a small, pleasant place, the home of the boy who had painted his face, and Frank, who'd stayed home from the Easter egg hunt, was watching the crowds from a window in front. And he saw there the egg with its small face upturned, the face of poor Egbert. How Egbert then yearned to hear as the eggs at the egg hunt had heard, "I've found one!" To eggs, what a welcoming word, and better than anything else, great or grand, to feel warm around him a little child's hand. Did Frank come a-running? He did, right away. On it happened, his happiest Easter day. Did he say then, "I've found one"? No, see the next line. He said, Egbert loved him for this, "I've found mine." The end.